So right now I'm about to do a video which has been long anticipated. You've asked for it, it's here. No, I'm joking, nobody asked for it, I just wanted to do it. I love watching these kind of videos. If you haven't already guessed what I'm talking about, this is the best of beauty of 2015. I don't know if you guys are ready because I don't know if I'm ready, but there's a lot going on. There's a lot of, like, this is the box full of stuff that I'm going to talk about, and this stuff's chilling there. Okay, so these are stuff that I've absolutely loved this year, and I know that will be repurchasing, reusing, re-loving, re-lusting in 2016. I'm going to split them up into sections, and this is going to be long, so let's get ready. Let's go. Pull on the Father real quick. Thank you, Jesus. I'm just going to go by what I see in my box because there's a lot and it's going to be hard for me to get through it. Foundations is the first section. I'm going to talk about 4 foundations specifically. I really want to get out of my box and use a lot more foundations in 2016, but for 2015, these are the ones that I've been loving. You guys know how much I love this NARS All Day Luminous Weightless Foundation. In fact, this one's empty, and I've been really just like putting off buying a new one, and I don't know why. I just haven't had a chance to go into the shop and buy it. To be honest, I kept forgetting what shade I was in, so I didn't want to just go in and get the wrong one. But I'm in the shade New Guinea, so medium dark 5. If you guys do want to buy it and you think you're my complexion, that is my shade. Go holla at your boy at the store. This foundation is just my dream. Maybe all the foundations I own, this potentially is my favorite foundation. I love this because if you are oily, this is absolutely just gonna change your life, because it's light enough that it looks like your skin, but it's also somewhat matte to where your skin doesn't look like so dewy, but at the same time it's dewy. I don't know how it works, guys. It's a miracle. It's a miracle in a bottle. 2015, this is hands down my favorite foundation. The next foundation is the L'Oreal True Match. I'm in love with this foundation. The NARS foundation is better if you're oily because you don't get as oily throughout the day and you don't get like an oil slick and have to powder as much. This one you do have to powder a lot because it's a dewy foundation, and it does really work. It's an amazing foundation for the price. I just think in terms of oiliness, and if you're looking for something that's going to combat oil, this one is better for you to invest in. But this still made it to the list because I love it and it's amazing. If you get the right primer with it, then you're set, you're good to go. Next foundation is the Lancome Teint Idole Ultra 24-Hour Foundation. I've been using this a lot recently on my channel. I love this. This is almost like the NARS foundation but more matte. I absolutely love this formula. It feels so nice on your skin. It's almost satin-like but with a tiny bit of dewiness and then matte at the same time. My favourite. And then I'm going to talk about the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte. I'm going to say that this is 50% my favourite foundation. Let me tell you why. Because it's almost too matte for me. I like matte, but this is almost too matte to where I put my highlighter on and sometimes it doesn't look as highlighty. Sometimes it doesn't look as gold, sometimes it looks a bit dry, a bit dusty, a bit powdery. But when you mix this in with, for example, the True Match, which you guys know I love to do, it's amazing because it just mattifies it and ensures that you can get somewhat of that dew, but still having that matteness, which you won't have to powder as much throughout the day. So this in combination with any foundation which you find is getting you a bit too oily throughout the day and that you wish just had a bit more oil control, the L'Oreal Infallible would be your best friend. This was the next in my pile, so I'm going to move on to my favourite highlighters of 2015. Just dropped this one and I thought it was going to crack, so I'm going to talk about it now so I can save it and put it away before it does crack. This is the Gerard Cosmetics Star Powder in the shade Lucy. Y'all know this is my girl, Lucy my girl. This highlighter is just on another level, but it's like the perfect pinky gold. Ignore those swatches there, that's not part of it. I just don't have a tissue to clean my hand. So this right here is Lucy. Ooh, 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 ooh. Y'all know I like my brown, cute, pretty and pink, just everyday cute looks, and Lucy is your perfect everyday highlight. That will get you set, ready to go, set good like the ice in a freezer. Perfect highlight, perfect highlight. If you are darker complexion as well, this is gonna be your best friend in 2016. Amazing. I was about to call the other one Geraldine. I'm down with myself. There's another one called Marilyn that is a gold highlight, and you can mix. Who's Geraldine? Hashtag who's Geraldine. Hashtag who's Geraldine. If you mix the two, Geraldine and Lucy, you're gonna get the perfect highlight. If this is a bit too pink for you, but I don't think it will be too pink. It's amazing. You'll love it. Yeah. Y'all know I keep this in the box, okay? This is just too much to be sitting just all piled up with the other highlighters like this. I need to separate this. This is from the Queen. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Becca X Jaclyn Hill, okay? Champagne Pop, get this in your life. Now, I don't want to admit this, but it took me a lot longer to love this highlight than all of the other highlights that I'm going to talk about, because I just didn't get it, and I let you guys know that I didn't get it, and I just didn't think it was as amazing as it was. But in the last maybe 3 weeks, including New Year's Eve, when I wore this here highlight on my face, guys, I'm telling you, this champagne was popping. Popping! Like, I can't, guys. Like, I underestimated this highlighter. This highlighter is the balm.com. Amazing peachy, just gold. It's on my face today. There you go, there you go. 2 highlighters from the Balm. This is your girl Mary, and this is her sister Betty. Betty is for the dark chocolate girls. Betty's her older sister and Mary's her little sister. Mary's like when you first getting into that highlight, that's that cute little, yeah, I'm going to the club, my cheeks will be popping highlight, that's that one. Betty is like, yeah girl, I'm gonna find me a sugar daddy tonight. Look, it almost looks like brown sugar, look at it. The 2 of these were the first ever highlighters I bought, and through 2015 they still have not steered me wrong. These 2 highlighters are amazing. They're good highlighters in the sense that they're really easy to find in comparison to like some of the highlighters, for example, the next 2 that I'm about to talk about, and then the Champagne Pop. If you aren't located in the UK like me, they are a tiny bit harder to find, but I promise if you can find them, they are 100% worth it. These 2 highlighters are great to mix together, they're great on their own. It's just a great formula. It's really liquidy and metallic. That's just the way I like my highlighters. There's Mary and there's Betty. The next highlighter that I'm going to talk about is from the Wet n Wild Fergie collection. This is in the shade Hollywood Boulevard. Fergalicious Depth. This is supposed to be a dupe for every high-end highlighter that you could not get your hands on, aka Estee Lauder, aka Laura Geller, aka the Makeup Forever Pro Sculpting Duo 2. Like, this is supposed to be a dupe for all of them, all of them. If you cannot get your hands on those ones, this is an amazing dupe. What I love about it is you just never expect that it's going to be as pretty as it is. Open sesame, open sesame, open sesame. It's like gold with like specks of pink and then specks of brown in there. It's just a really nice highlighter. At first this was coming out quite glittery and musky, and I perfected the way to use it with one of the brushes that I'm going to talk about when I eventually can get to the brush portion in this pile of junk. But once I figured it out with that brush, I absolutely loved it, and I'm sure that you guys will love it too. Gonna talk about a trio of highlighters. This is my City Color Timeless Beauty palette. I've spoken about this palette a few times on my channel. I absolutely love it because you get so much bang for your buck. This palette I have 2. One is in my freelancing kit and one is for myself. This has 3 amazing, super pigmented, super rich, just creamy highlighters, which also come in really big sizes, might I add. This I got from eBay. Oh, I forgot to say, if a lot of those highlighters I got from eBay. For example, the Wet n Wild one, I got that from eBay, so you could probably get that from eBay as well. How many times can I say eBay? This palette is amazing if you are traveling, if you are on the go and you don't want to bring like 500 highlights, if you don't want to have a gold highlight and a bronze one. This highlight is perfect because you got all 3, and I love to mix and match. Out of the 3, this one is my favorite one. I'm going to show you them now. So this one is my favorite. This is the outermost in the palette. This is the pinky one. This is the one in the middle. This is a nice peachy shade, and then we've got the golden one here. Moving on to blushes and bronzers, I'm just gonna put this in the same category because you guys know I don't really like blushes and I only really use one bronzer that I love. This is another product from NYX. This is the NYX Blush in Espresso, an amazing pink shade. I don't bother like swatching any of the blushes or bronzers because you can pretty much see them in a pan. Just an amazing everyday pink shade. It's good for a nice like subtle pop of colour. If you blend this in nicely with your bronzer, it's going to give you just a really nice like subtle glow as well. My bronzer, I can't even show you or open this for anything. My one's shattered. It's been shattered for a long time, however I still use it. This is the Sunkissed Giant Bronzer. I don't know where exactly you can buy this. It's an amazing bronzer. Both me and my sister use it. Give her a shout out, Frida. Hey. This bronzer is amazing. It's what I use on a day-to-day basis. You've probably seen it in one of my videos. In fact, I basically just skipped doing the bronzer part of my tutorials because you guys know this is the bronzer that I'll be using. It goes for around $2.99. If you've got darker skin, it's actually going to show up. I do have a problem with bronzers not showing up, not giving me enough warmth, but this bronzer is really nice. If you put too much, however, it can go a bit orange, so just be wary of how you use this. But for the price and for how much product you have and for how long this has lasted me, even though it's shattered, then this hands down has to make it to this list. One last blush is actually in my dream palette. It's called a dream palette, that's what we're calling it. This is the Lord & Berry blush in the shade Lotus. I've used this recently in a lot of my videos. The same as Espresso, but almost a tiny bit deeper. It's lovely for that subtle just glow. It's nice for that just like that you got a tiny bit going on your cheeks, but not too much. Not trying to be champagne popping or nothing. Primers, 1, 2, 3, speak for themselves. This is my H&M Mattifying Face Primer. Love this primer, amazing. Just on another level of just amazing. If you are oily, this is going to be your best friend. I believe I spoke about this in my October-November favourites. If I'm wrong, do not shoot me. Go and watch both of them. Really helps at controlling oils. I can't believe that H&M did such a good job on a primer. This is the ultimate primer. This is the Makeup Forever Smoothing Primer, and then we have the L'Oreal Revitalift Magic Blur. In terms of oil control, this one hands down. In terms of pores and stuff like that, this one hands down. And in terms of smoothing the skin, obviously this one because it is a smoothing primer. In terms of pores, it is really good as well. However, I just do prefer this one a little bit more. But all three of these are just all round great primers. I feel like when you talk about primers, people just want to know if it smooths, pores, and reduces oil. All three of these do all three of those things. So if you are looking for a great primer for this year that's just going to help your skin be popping, these three. Okay, I'm seeing face powders. We all know. The hype is real with this powder. The hype is very real. Translucent powder, there's not much I can say about this. Everybody on YouTube and Instagram, everybody and their mama loves this powder. There's a reason why. It's lightweight, it really sets your eyes. It does help to minimize somewhat of creasing. However, you guys know I just have creasy eyes in general. But this powder is really nice, guys. It's so fine, it's so soft to the touch, you barely even feel that it's there, and you get so much in it. This is £29. I've had this for maybe 3 or 4 months and I still have so much in it. If you are going to invest in maybe just one powder in 2016, I would say invest in this purely for the fact that you pay once and then you could use this tub for like 8, 9, 10 months. Back into my dream palette. These are the MAC Pro powders. First one is here, second one is here. Soft Focus, Emphasize. Enough said. Jacqueline Hill loves Emphasize, so that's all I have to say. Soft Focus is amazing because it's like a subtle yellow powder. You guys know I used to love up the Ben Nye on my channel, and I just felt like that was almost too yellow. However, this is really subtle, and even if you go a bit overboard, it still looks good, whereas I think with the Ben Nye, it's just too much sometimes. So both of these are so good at just brightening your face and giving your face an overall airbrush feel. I love Soft Focus and I use this on a day-to-day basis. Emphasize I sometimes just mix in if I want a tiny bit more brightness. Have done that today. These go for $16.50 in the MAC Pro store. If you don't want to go for the Laura Mercier powder, maybe you can afford it but you just don't want it, get these two I would recommend, and then just mix them, because then you will get that brightness here, but then you also get that yellow tinge. If that's what you like, because I like that. 2 more face powders. This is the NARS Light Reflecting Setting Powder in the shade, not in the shade Translucent, but Translucent. This is a compact and I keep this in my bag on a day-to-day basis. I never ever take this out of my bag. It helps me when I'm at work, helps me wherever I am. I literally just go in with my brush and I dip and dab, and I apply it to my face using just my powder brush that I have with me on the go, to help with creasing, to help with oil control. You don't even really feel that it's with you. It's so light almost that you can chuck it in any compact. If you're going to the club, you're going to the mall, you're going to the grocery store. You can see that I've just hit pan. I hit pan maybe 3 weeks ago on this. I've had it since maybe the start of the year. Not the start of the year, maybe a year and a half or something like that. I bought it ages ago. I wasn't hesitant when buying this, irregardless of the price, just because I knew that it was going to be an investment and it was going to help me every day, and it really has. It has lasted me so long and just does the job. It literally disappears. I will you have that and then you just gone. One last powder. This is the eyeshadow from End of the Stories, Burnett Brown. You guys already know my holy grail contouring powder. I don't really invest in contouring kits because I don't really see the need for them. I think that cool tone brown eyeshadows work good for me. I find that in a lot of the contour kits, they don't really cater to girls of my skin tone. It's £7. It's like really smooth. It's like kind of subtle. It doesn't give you a really like exaggerated like contour. It's just really nice powder. It's £7 and you get so much. I think I've been using this since like May or April, and look at it, I've literally still got so much in there. Don't bother buying any contour kits, just get yourself a nice contour shade like this, get yourself some highlighting powders and you'll be done. Moving on to mascaras, it's kind of hard to like demonstrate and show, you know, what these mascaras look like, so I'm just going to try my best to describe them and hopefully I will sell it to you guys. But you guys have seen me use them in some videos as well, so you can go back to some of my tutorials to see how they work. So first of all, this is the L'Oreal Lash Accelerator. Since I've had an interest in makeup, I've been using this mascara. Every time it runs out, I'll buy another one without fail. It's so good at fanning out your top lashes, not only your top lashes but your bottom lashes. I've had so many mascaras that I've used that really help to fan out the top lashes, but they can't grip on and cling to the bottom lashes because they are shorter than the top ones. Whereas mine are just, both layers are short, so I do need something that has that extra grip and extra hold and extra volume. This really does the job. This is the L'Oreal Miss Manga Mega Volume. Basically it does the same thing, however it does give you a bit more of like that bit clumpy, not clumpy, I would say like if you like those like thin separated lashes, that's what it's going to give you. My bottom lashes, this works equally just as good as the L'Oreal Lash Accelerator. However, when comparing the two L'Oreal mascaras, I would recommend that you get this one. So I think that this one does get a bit too clumpy. Next is the L'Oreal Lash Telescopic. I also love this one. It's amazing because it's got such a thin brush. I used to love this mascara so much. I still do love it, but I don't know, the Lash Accelerator has just like superseded it and become my favorite. Two mascaras from H&M Beauty. You guys have seen me talk about this. I think this one was in my favorites. This is the Pure Definition one and this one is the High and Mighty mascara. It's pretty much self-explanatory. I'm just showing you guys the mascaras so that you have a variation. I'm showing you 5 mascaras so that you have a choice in terms of like budget, in terms of places to find them. But these two are amazing. They do the same thing as basically the other 3 that I mentioned to you guys. All 5 of them do a great job, but like I said, L'Oreal Lash Accelerator is my holy grail mascara. I forgot my LA Girl color corrector upstairs, but if you guys have watched any of my tutorials, you've seen what it looks like and you probably laughed at me and you know exactly what that orange thing is. I don't need to explain that. Stop laughing at me! But that is an amazing color corrector. I love it. It's so inexpensive. If you're looking for a color corrector because you're suffering from a lot of darkness, you already know. You've seen me use it in my videos, so you know how it works. Go and get that. But 2 actual concealers, my 2 holy grails. What I would try and do is try and link the videos down in the box below, the ones that I've referenced in this video, just so you can get a better idea of how the products work. You can see how it looks on me, decide if you like it. Maybe I'll mention something about those products in that video that I haven't mentioned this one, so you can get a tiny bit more information and feedback. This is the Urban Decay Naked Concealer and this is the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer. I don't plan on really changing up my concealers anytime soon. These have just never steered me wrong. The NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer does exactly what it says on the tin. It's creamy, it's pigmented, it's thick but not thick to where it's like hard to control with your beauty blender. It's just exactly the right consistency and gives you the right coverage. I have it on today and wear it almost every day. It's amazing, my favorite concealer hands down. Tying, however, with the Urban Decay Naked Skin Concealer. Everybody on YouTube loves this and there's a reason why. This is basically the NARS concealer on crack because it's just amazing. It's the same thing but lightweight and you don't really feel that it's on your face. However, it gives you really nice super coverage. It doesn't really crease at all. The only thing I would say is they don't have a really large shade range. I use the darkest shade, so if you are darker than me, you are going to find it hard to find a colour for highlighting, unfortunately. If you are looking for concealers to invest in, this or this. If you are in love with both of them as much as I am, what might just help you make your decision better is the fact that this retails for £22 in the UK and this retails for £17 in the UK. This one is cheaper, so you're probably going to go for this one just because it's cheaper, but this one is also amazing. So if you do have an extra £5 and maybe want to splurge, then grab this one. My one and only eyebrow product, Anastasia Dip Brow Pomade in the shade Dark Brown. You guys already know how much I love this one. I have a lot of eyebrow products that I use, but this one I always end up reaching for all the time. This is the one. There's a reason why so many people love this pomade, and there's a reason why Anastasia Beverly Hills is so successful. I'm going to talk about eyeshadow palettes now. The next two that I'm going to talk about, I don't even need the introduction because you know how much I love these. Zoeva Cocoa Blend palette, and then the Smoky Eyes palette. The both of these are hands down my two favourite palettes from Zoeva. Zoeva shadows in general are really creamy, really pigmented, and just do the job. I only have 4 palettes in total to talk about, and I will probably talk about some shadows that are my favourites as well. This palette is so busted, it's so worn out. I've had this for maybe 3 years. This is my BH Cosmetics 28 colour palette neutral eyeshadow. If I had started YouTube like 3 years ago, this palette would have made it to my favourites every single year. This palette is so great if you're a beginner. If you do freelance makeup as well, it will really save your life because it has almost every colour. If you're looking for a starter palette with a good colour selection, then this palette you are going to love. Next up, this is a palette from Morphe brushes. You guys know Morphe is my favourite brand on the whole entire earth, and this might just be my favourite palette from them. There's some individual shades from Morphe that I'm going to talk about after as well. It has every single colour that I could ever want in my life. I didn't realise I was a taupe girl until I bought this palette. So good. Cream and, I was about to say creamy and pigmented at the same time. Creamy, pigmented at the same damn time. You have shimmery shades in here. They only have a few matte shades, which if you're looking for a palette that has a lot more matte shades and shimmery shades, is probably not the palette for you. But I think go ahead and try it because you will like it because they're just super pretty colours. I used this palette in my first ever tutorial on this channel, my first ever video on YouTube, my Kim Kardashian makeup tutorial, which I look back at and I'm like, but this is a learning process, and I absolutely love this palette back then and I still love it now. Go and watch that video so that you can see this palette in use, and also go to Google to get some swatches of them. Moving on to some individual shadows. I think I have 4 which I'm going to mention here. One of them unfortunately has like met its nemesis on the flight back to Paris. This is Makeup Geek Grandstand. I'm going to talk about that first so we can just get out of the way. Grandstand, an amazing pinky gold shadow. I have it on my eyes right now. I also have a picture on Instagram which I put up a few days ago. If you go on my Instagram, VENIKA, VENIKK, it's on there, and it's a picture. It's like 2 pictures of me like in a layout together. The perfect pinky gold colour, if that's what you're looking for. It's a combination of pink and gold so that you don't have to mix shadows, because I regularly do have to do that. Makeup Geek shadows as well as Morphe shadows and Zoeva shadows were the MVP for me in 2015. The next one that I'm going to talk about is Makeup Geek Americano. This one recently came out and has been sold out on the website for weeks and weeks and weeks. However, I managed to get this on Beauty Bay because they just started selling Makeup Geek. This is Americano. It's like a really nice purpley brown shadow. If you are looking for something like this just to put on the crease or just to put on your lid, which is something that I do on the regular, this is going to be the shade for you. Next up, we have Cafe Macchiato by Morphe. Okay, hopefully I don't end the shadow before I end this video. Amazing transition colour. I always mix this with Americano, just a tiny bit of Americano to just give this a bit more depth because it is quite orange and sometimes I don't want something this bright in the crease. Cafe Macchiato, Americano. Do you guys understand now why these shadows are in my dream palette? They're just so beautiful, they're amazing. The last shadow that I'm going to talk about is Deep Cocoa from Morphe brushes. I almost forgot there. Got it on my finger. This is almost the same as Americano, however I would say that this one is a lot more red. So we have finished talking about eyeshadows. You guys have probably already seen me use these in videos. I love them so much. I'm going to first talk about some liquid lipsticks. I'm going to go ahead and put this next one in there because that technically probably does qualify as a liquid lipstick somewhat. This is the Colourpop Ultra Matte Liquid Lipstick. This is the Lime Crime Velveteen. We have the Gerard Cosmetics Hydra Matte Lip, Jeffree Star Liquid Velour Lipstick, and last but not least the NYX Soft Matte Lip Cream. Out of all of these, I would say that the formula that I love the most is going to be the Colourpop. If you apply enough of this, like a nice thick layer, it just dries amazingly and you don't even feel that it's on your lips. All of these liquid lipsticks I would repurchase in several colours. Like I would add as well that the NYX Soft Matte Lip Creams, although they are amazing, they're not as pigmented as some of the liquid lipsticks. Not that they're supposed to compete with the liquid lipsticks, but they are a good alternative. So let me make this clear as well. It's not that the colours are my favourite, although I love these colours. It's that the brand is my favourite for liquid lipsticks, is that the formula is my favourite, and overall I just think that they have delivered a really great product, so that's why I've mentioned them. First we have the Gerard Cosmetics Hydro Matte Lip and Aphrodite. Next is Lime Crime Cashmere. Then we have the Jeffree Star Velour Liquid Lipsticks. Then we have the NYX Soft Matte Lip Cream. This is in the shade Abu Dhabi. That's in Celebrity Skin. Next we have Colourpop Ultra Matte Liquid Lipstick. This is in the shade Trap, which is a really popular colour. Lip liners and lipsticks. I haven't got that much, although I do love so many lip liners and so many lipsticks, but I figured I did not want to make this super long. You guys already know I kind of stick to the same colours. First is this NARS lipstick in the shade Barbara. This is from the Audacious line. I'm sure you guys have already seen the amazing magnetic packaging that just clips back into place wherever you put it. Next up we have the MAC Viva Glam 2 lipstick, ultimate favourite. It's just a cool tone pink. I put it over almost every liner, but you guys are getting assorted. You're gonna see a handful of swatches. Next we have some liners from NYX that I'm gonna talk about, or that I'm mentioning. You guys already know by now that I love the NYX liners, my absolute favourites. I have a Kiko liner here as well. This is the Precision Lip Pencil. I have this one in the shade 300, which is one that I'm going to show you guys at 300. MAC Strip Down. My favourites. I have so many lip liners, and these are the ones that I just love so much. I love beyond love. Although I love almost every lip liner that I have, I just figured that it makes sense to show you guys the ones that I wear the most often, because obviously that's my best of 2015. That's the best of this year. That's the best of the best. That's what made it to this video. That's what made it to my lips. The first one, oh, I've really cocked this up. I've not really done them in the right order, have I? The first one is NARS Barbara. The next one is MAC Viva Glam 2. This one is NYX Nude Beige. NYX Nude Truffle. This one is MAC Strip Down. And then we have the Kiko pencil in the shade 3 Honey. So that was my favourite lip products. The last bit of this video, I'm sure you guys are crying, you don't want to see me leave, but this is the last bit of the video and then it's going to end. We're going to move on to some makeup tools. These are my favourite brushes. This is the best of the best. These are the brushes that I use without fail on an everyday basis and cannot live without. If my house burnt down and some of these brushes happen to burn down, I'd be truly gutted and I wouldn't be able to live. 2016 would not be it for me. I figured it just makes sense. I'm including in tools stuff like beauty blenders. I'm going to talk about these quickly. My H&M Precision Sponge. I spoke about this in my October favourites. Love this sponge. It's amazing. It retails for £1.99 and just really does the job. I buy like 5 of these at a time on the H&M website. They do the job. They're cheap, inexpensive. Unfortunate thing is they are white. Like I used this today and I haven't had a chance to clean this yet. The unfortunate thing is that they're white and they get pretty dirty easily. But because they're £1.99, you can literally just buy them and chuck them out and just keep buying and buying and buying, which I don't encourage, but unfortunately I might have to do because I don't like when my beauty blenders are this dirty. This is a Real Techniques Miracle Complexion Sponge. I'm not sure why this one looks so deformed. Like literally, even if you put water in it, even if you soaked it in the damn River Ganges, like River Ganges, like it just stays deformed. It just stay deformed, like don't change. I'm gonna try and buy some more. They do them in multi-packs now. You can buy a pack of 2. They're like £9, so I'm gonna just go ahead and do that. Love this sponge. The flat surface really helps for getting in those corners. I use this sponge on freelance jobs because they are just so great. They really do the job and they soak up a lot of water and are really soft when you put a lot of water in them. Lastly, this is my Ricky Care sponge. It's looking so tiny because it needs some water, it needs some dehydration, it needs some thirsty sponge. I love this sponge because when you put water in it, it's so soft. It's the softest of any sponge that I've ever owned. If you do happen to go to New York or something and you do maybe want to just try a different sponge to the ones that people usually talk about, then this is a really good sponge. Oh, I'm so sad because this is almost the end. We're going to talk about brushes. I hope that you guys can see them. I'm just going to run through these brushes quickly because you see me use these in almost every tutorial in like the past 3 months since I've started my channel. This is a Sigma E75 angled brow. Hands down my favourite brow brush. My baby. This is the Morphe E27 brush. Oh, this almost took over from my Sigma E40. Almost. However, E40 still has my heart because I find that the E27 is just a tiny bit too big sometimes. When I'm on a more like controlled look, can I say controlled look? Sometimes I want to use the E40 because it really just gets up in there, but the E27 is absolutely my holy grail blending brush, as well as the E40. I can't do my makeup without either one of these two. This is the Real Techniques blush brush. This is my Holy Grail blush brush. Actually, this is not my Holy Grail blush brush. I'm going to mention that one after. But this is the brush that I keep in my bag to use with the NARS powder that I mentioned. This is the brush that I use. Hopefully it still has some powder on it. It's so soft and so fluffy, even though I've owned it for like 2 years. Next we have a Sigma brush. This is the Sigma Blending E25. Amazing for precision crease work. It just gets right in there, so you can just control where the shadow is going. If you're using a darker color, ideally you do not want to use it on a big brush, something as big as like the E27 or E40, because it's just going to be hard to blend out and you're going to have too dark an eye to where you're going to look like you have a bruised eye. Another Sigma brush. This is my tapered highlight F35. You guys have seen me use this. I use this to highlight under my eyes. Some people use this for actual highlighter. I've never tried it. Maybe I'll try it tomorrow actually. I'm going to try this tomorrow for highlighter. It's an amazing brush. I use it to sit on my forehead as well, on my chin. An amazing powder brush. Love this. I don't use anything else to set my powder. This is my #1 brush. I'll never ever 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 go to another brush. Ever. Now, this is the brush I actually use for highlighting, the Morphe M510. This has slowly but surely become my favourite. Slowly is right, because I've had this for about 5 months and only really used it for the past month. Great brush. Buy it. I love how I'm trying to sell these people. Buy it. I like it. Another brush from Morphe. Oh, the 2 last brushes are from Morphe. So this is the Morphe E3 Holy Grail Blush Brush. The Real Techniques one was my favourite until I was like, listen, I've got to try something else. I did like it. There was actually no problem with it. But the one thing that stood out to me was Manny MUA's first video on Morphe brushes. And he was talking about how this just is so precise. Then Rosia Applebaum spoke about it. She's my favourite YouTuber ever. Just love her. She slays. And she was talking about this and how it's precise. They basically both say the same thing. So I feel like when 2 people say the same exact almost words about a brush, and I feel like they must not be lying. They ain't trying to sell me nothing. They don't own the company, man. Last but not least, we have the Morphe E1. This is a powder brush from Morphe. I love this powder brush. I'm gonna start using this to actually set the powder on my face, because I find that my foundation does crease really quickly. I think my face is just prone to that. I'm not sure why. But this is just a really good powder brush. It's so soft. It's dense, but not dense to the point that you cannot like move it about on your face. It's perfect when you apply powder. When you put it on your head, unicorn, when you put it on your face, literally it just kind of like succumbs to your face, if that makes any sense. It literally just like molds to your face and like allows all the powder to just sink into your skin and just does a really good job. This is a really good powder brush, guys. The Elite collection in general is amazing. So many people love the Elite collection and they've recently come up with new brushes. So if you are looking for some brushes to buy, Morphe brushes are the one for you. In 2016, go and invest in them because it's actually an amazing company. Unfortunately, the Morphe 350 is still not in my possession and I've not been able to talk about it in this video. But 2016 is a new year and I'm coming to get it. I'm playing no games. So that marks the end of this video. I feel like I've spoken for about 5 hours about every single product on the sun. I'm so excited about using so many different products. I feel like this year I'm going to be a bit more adventurous and I'm going to just be willing to try a lot more things, because I feel like on the past 3 months you've kind of seen the same kind of products, but I've recently bought some new things from Sephora and I've got a great list of like stuff that I want to get so I can start showing some new products on my channel. But I hope that you guys have enjoyed watching this video. I hope that you have a list of 10 or 20 or 30 things that you want to buy from this video. I hope that I persuaded you to buy it. If you have, email the CEO or director of that company and tell them that VENIKA personally told you to buy that. Best of Beauty 2015. I hope that I don't have too long of a time editing this video. I hope that I'm going to look back at this video and just think about all the amazing memories I've had with each and every one of these makeup products. My sister just laughing at me. Oh, rude bitch. But I don't really have much to say. I think the video kind of talks for itself, guys. So let me know how you feel about any of the products that I've used. And that's all I've got to say today, guys. Thank you again so much for watching. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye bye.